Today's presentation is called Creating Visual Story Video Ads for More Leads, Sales and Lower Cost per Actions. Okay, so why video? Really, like, why video and why this type of video is because you can just communicate so much so very, very quickly. And you can take someone who isn't necessarily like a warm prospect, they may not even know about what you do, and then you can take them in a very, very short period of time with what we're going to show you, like how they're not even aware of it, and then in literally 1 minute later, they want it and they're going and buying it, that kind of thing. So, video is as much as 80% of the traffic on the internet now, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger. So, well, a lot of you would have seen the last training that I did for you, which was really about how to close high-ticket sales. This can be used for, the high-ticket sales process, but this is more like really about how to sell anything using video, and in particular in advertising. So I hope you get great value from it. These visual story videos that we're going to show you how to make, we use these in everything that we do. Whether it's selling a physical product, selling an event, selling a training series, we create one of these for every single thing we do. So the idea here is that we want you to come away with the knowledge, basically like the formula that we use, the tools that we use, and then really like be confident to be able to create this for yourself. So that's kind of like what's going on here. We already spoke about me. So what is a visual story? This started like what is a visual story video? This started probably about 2 years ago that I really got onto these. We were traveling on the plane, and before I got this phone, I had an old one, and the battery, like you get to that stage where the battery's just dying, and we're on the plane, and my battery was dead. So then I was just sitting beside my wife Jules, and I was watching how she was just like going through her feed. It was on Facebook at the time, and she'd get to an image that she liked, and she'd stop there for a second, and then she'd go on, and then she'd get to these like square type videos that had the writing on them, and I noticed that she'd get there and then she'd stop, and she'd stop scrolling for about 30 seconds to a minute. She'd watch, and read the video, like she didn't even have the sound on because she was on the plane, and then she'd go on again. And I saw her do that twice, and I thought, wow, there's really something to that. One of those like square videos with the writing on it that told a story made her stop for 30 times as long or 20 times as long as just an image on its own. So I thought, wow, that really is something to that. And then as I learned more about these and I geeked out more and more, it was really like what we were talking about before, where you can take someone on that journey where they're not even thinking about that problem, or they're not even aware that there's a solution to it, and then taking them on the journey and really making them want it and making them want to buy it, by the end. So let's get into some examples. I'm going to show you a couple of examples. They go for like 30 seconds to a minute. I'll show you 3 or 4 of those so that you get the full gist of it. And then we're going to go into the whole, like the formula behind it so that it all makes sense, because like Russell Brunson has this saying, watch the magician's hands. So you don't want to just see it. You want to know what the formula is, and then you want to know how to make them. And then the next month's webinar, actually, which follows on from this one, is I'm going to show you how we do Facebook video view ads. And Facebook video view ads is my #1 traffic strategy. I use it in nearly every business that I work on because it's the cheapest way to deploy video like this on a mass scale, because you're basically paying 1 cent a view is how that works out. So, so why visual stories? So video tells a story better than an image. What do they say? Is an image is worth 1,000 words. So what's a video worth? I don't know, a hell of a lot more than that. You can explain your main value proposition in less than a minute. And that minute is important, and we'll get into why that is in a moment. You'll also have higher landing page conversion rates with video. So if someone's watched a video and then goes over to the landing page, they're a better prospect than if they've just seen an image, because especially if you've done a good job on the video, they already know a little bit about it. And then if the video ad is consistent with what they're going to see on the landing page, then even better. And ultimately, if you get higher conversion rates, that's going to result in lower CPAs, so lower cost per actions for you. So the types of products and services that it works for, really it's not limited, and you'll see like a whole bunch of different examples here. So it works for physical products. We use this for every physical product that yeah, that we bring out. So let's show you an example here. So call to action at the end. If you've got a little baby and it's in an infant, like that age that would be in an infant carrier, and then you saw this, then you would like, oh wow, that makes so much sense, you know, because especially like a little newborn. And then you can see like the amount of views that it's get, like 112,000 views, 680 shares, that kind of thing. So the other thing is Facebook likes this sort of content which people find helpful. So the idea was that someone might not have even heard of an infant carrier cover before, and then they want one, you know, by the time that they get to the end of that video. So it also works for services. So like here's an example of a consulting service. Might not show you the whole video, but in this case you can see I've even got that progress bar going along the bottom, so they can see how long the video is going to go for. We've got a headline at the top, and we've got that subhead at the bottom that keeps changing. And the images are matching up with the wording. Alrighty. And it also works for if you're giving something away, you know, a lead magnet. So if you're giving away a PDF report, etc. These days, rather than sending them to a landing page, I'd probably use Facebook Messenger or like ManyChat type setup, which I think is talking with the guys is something that we're going to give, you know, training on that coming up, because it is very, very relevant. So here's an example of how you could give away something, you know, like a lead magnet, a PDF report. Basically, it's the same sort of formula, and then at the end, it's got a call, really just changing the call to action. And it also works for holidays. Like you'll see in your members area the amount of these that have been built out, you know, by the team that you have access to. So everyone's seen visual story videos, whether you call it that or not, but you're familiar with them. So very, very powerful. So other good applications of it, software as a service, we use it in that space, low ticket info product sales, basically anything that you want to communicate fast, literally in less than a minute, is what I love about it. So hopefully now you understand the concept of a visual story video. Maybe some of you are already using them in your, you know, in your business, and chances are that a lot of you aren't. But so let's now get into like sizes, shapes, you know, that kind of thing, the lengths of them, and then we'll get into the formula and then how to make them. So platform size and timings. So for Instagram, we really need them to be square and less than a minute. Like, so Instagram has a minute limit. You can now make things go across onto like Instagram TV if it's longer than a minute, but as a general rule, you want a minute. And why you want to square as well is square videos, like realistically, most of the consumption on Instagram and Facebook and stuff is mobile devices. And if you have it in portrait mode, so that it's like wide like that, it'll only take up a little bit of the screen. But if you have it square, it's actually taking up most of the screen. So that's why we really, really want square. If we're designing stuff for YouTube, yeah, go for it. Make it more landscape. But if we're going for social, like Facebook and Instagram, then we really, really want square. So we're taking up most of the screen. So Instagram, 1080 by 1080. Or it could be 720 by 720. The main thing is it's just square and it's less than a minute. Facebook, square. It doesn't have to be less than a minute, but what I often do is keep it less than a minute because it forces me to be concise. And then also that same visual story video can be used on Facebook and on Instagram. And YouTube, we spoke about landscape, so 1080p, which is 1920 wide by 1080 high. You can't really use square videos so much on YouTube. It's not native to that platform. One good point on this is if you get a good visual story video, so you might make it, the initial version of it you might make for Facebook and Instagram, but if you're onto a winner, then go to the effort and make a second version of it that is landscape that you can use on YouTube, etc. Or you might want to change it slightly for that. But yeah, that's the way we approach it. We normally start with the Facebook and Instagram though. So now we know what a visual story video is, and we now know how long they've got to be and the shapes they've got to be. Let's now look at the tools that we need in our toolbox to pull this off, to make this happen, because it's all good and well to have theory, but it's very easy to get stuck on it and say, you know, I'll find that's fine for you, Greg, you've got video skills or whatever, but you know what, I don't really have video skills. I've got basic video skills, but I wouldn't say that I'm advanced, you know, like I'm not using Adobe Premiere and that kind of stuff. I'm just using basic tools that you don't need any video editing skills for, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So the main tool that I've been using to do nearly all of those was this tool called Animoto. So Animoto, when it first came out, it was really about making videos of like sharing photos and videos of your family. So you can throw a whole bunch of photos in there and then choose a family one, and then it'll mix them all up and turn it into a family video for you, that kind of thing. So it's great for that. But Animoto now also has business and marketing videos, and that's what we're going to use here. It costs like $20 a month. So this tool, I think, will cost you about $200 for the year to be able to create really, really good professional videos for your business. So really, this is the main tool that I use. Really every week we use Animoto for something. ScreenFlow, I have that on the Mac. If you've got a PC, Camtasia is the equivalent, basically. There's no doubt about it, ScreenFlow can do a whole bunch more, and so can Camtasia, but it's more complicated for most people. So if in doubt, you know, just go Animoto. It doesn't matter whether you're on a Mac or a PC, just go Animoto. We also use ScreenFlow. You know, I gave you that example before where there was that red bar that was going across. That was done with ScreenFlow. That one can't be done with Animoto, not at the moment anyway. But all the others were created with Animoto. If in doubt, just get Animoto. But if you want to do some stuff more advanced, then ScreenFlow or Camtasia. Okay, we also need to be able to pull in video assets. Like, it's great if you have your own, you're shooting a video, and realistically, like, you can shoot great stuff just with an iPhone these days, or a Samsung phone or whatever, or a digital SLR. But sometimes you just need to find a video that tells an exact story. And we use a tool called VideoBlocks, okay, which is videoblocks.com. Again, this costs about $200 for the year. And what it does is it gives you stock video. When you're in there, and I'll show you how to use it in a moment, there's a thing where you tick on which is members videos. And then, so whatever you're searching for, you say you needed a video of a camel, you just type in camel, and then it'll show you whatever members videos it's got of camels, and you can just download them. You don't have to pay for each individual video. Where other services that you have to pay for videos, they might be $13 to $100 for a video, for a stock video, whereas this is $200 for unlimited stock videos for the whole year. So it's a great, great asset to have as a tool in your arsenal, tool in your toolbox. So we use VideoBlocks. That's really been a secret weapon of ours. If on the unlikely chance that we don't find what we're looking for on VideoBlocks, like the video we're looking for, then we use a tool called VideoHive. And VideoHive is part of the Envoto marketplace. So you might have seen Theme Forest, that kind of thing. So these videos really are maybe that $13 to $25 per video, whereas obviously VideoBlocks was $200 for unlimited. So we always start with VideoBlocks, and only if we don't find what we want, then we'll go over to VideoHive, and between the two, we'll pretty much find videos of anything that we need to tell a story. Because remember, as the wording was changing on our script, we needed video images, or you can be using still images, like you can also be uploading photos, which you're getting from a stock photos or your own photos. But a video is more powerful to use in those snippets than physical photos. We also use this site a little bit, which is called Audio Jungle. You don't need this if you're using Animoto, but you do if you're using ScreenFlow. And this is where you can buy royalty-free music. So say, for example, it might be about $12 or something to buy an audio track, say a music soundtrack that can go underneath your video. Because while it's great to have talking in some of these videos, there's certainly nothing wrong with a music track and the wording over the screen. And you'll see all those examples that I showed you were a music track with writing over the screen, because often people are just flicking through their news feed. That's the main way that realistically people spend hours a day. I saw a stat the other day that say young people between 16 and 25, but from 7 in the morning to like 7 at night, they may spend up to 5 hours a day, like mainly in their news feed, but on their mobile device. So they're just flicking through. And a lot of them are at work as well. So that's why they're not playing they may not necessarily be playing the sound. But yeah, so Audio Jungle is another tool to use. So hopefully now you know what it is, you know the formats and the sizes, and you now know the tools that we use to do it. So this should be getting very, very easy. Now let's look at like really step by step, how do we build a visual story video? So you'll find that this isn't really going to take that long, and it's not really that complex. This webcast probably isn't going to be as long as the last one. It's simpler in a way, but it's giving you an amazing tool in your toolbox to be able to use for, like we see, for everything that we're doing. Like even just today, Andy and Marco and I were talking about, different marketing projects, and I was like, oh, I'll create a visual story video for that so people get it within less than a minute. And they're like, yeah, great, do it, that kind of thing. So we use these all the time. So we're going to show you Animoto. I used to have a version of this presentation where I taught the screen flow, but it actually just opened up to a whole bunch of questions because, if we think of this group, say we've got a couple hundred on this web class today, people are going to be at all sorts of different technical skills. We're going to have like proper uber geeks like me, and we're going to have people who are maybe not as technically strong. But the good thing about this Animoto is it doesn't really matter what level of technical skills you're at. You could, you can create videos this way. So we're going to show how to do it this way rather than with the screen flow. All right, so Animoto, this is the look and feel that effectively we're going to build. The writing on the screen, the music track below, video that tells a story of what's coming up with the writing on the screen. You'll notice that the writing on the screen is taking up less than 20% of the screen at any one stage. And that's really because of Facebook and Instagram with their 20% rule. So you've got examples where it's not exactly that, but we're just trying to make sure that we keep under that 20% rule where we can, so that we don't get pinged by Facebook. Often the first 2 or 3 seconds of a video, we won't have any writing on there either so that it doesn't get picked up. So with the first 2 or 3 seconds might just be something engaging, and then we may have writing after the first 2 seconds. So now we're going to show you in a moment how to make that, but in order to make it, we're going to start with the script. And with the script, I wanted to show you the most important marketing formula that I've ever learned. And remember, I've spent over $250,000 on my marketing education. If all you got out of this web class was just this one, and some of you will know this, like people who've got a real background in direct response, and others of you won't. If all you got out of it was this and you wrote this down, and then anytime you need to make a video script, like if you just write down here, and I'm going to show you a second version of it as well, you're golden. Like you can write a script for anything. So when you look at infomercials, so actually being in America, the amount of, sometimes I'm flicking the channels, there's like 16 channels of like, this sponsored content, which is infomercials. An infomercial does what I'm going to show you now. They do it 4 times in 22 minutes. They repeat the process over and over again. So the most important marketing formula that I've ever learned is this. So problem, aggravate, solution, prove, call to action. So we start off with the problem. We're calling them out. So say, for example, it might be, do you have unattractive cellulite? And then aggravate might be, and it's making you feel uncomfortable, and perhaps you don't want to wear your bathing suit this summer, that kind of thing. And then the solution may be, well, it doesn't have to be that way anymore. Here's new Cellusol cream this is like a made up product. I'm just making something up as we go, right? Which you rub on and the cellulite basically, disappears or is not as visible anymore, that kind of thing. And then move into Prove. It's been tested by thousands, tens of thousands of women, around the world. Meet Margaret used to have cellulite and now she's confident to go out into the, going to have a confident summer, that kind of thing. And then call to action, grab your free trial today or grab your pack today, that kind of thing. So hopefully that you see that that formula, and once you know it, problem, aggravate, solution, prove, call to action. If you haven't written that down, you really should. If you don't know that, if you're not doing that, but you should really be living and breathing that formula. So because when you actually get into the Animoto, we're actually really going to, you start with the storyboard. You start like mapping out. You don't really start with the imagery and the videos. You kind of want to map out what is your story that you're going to take them on, and you write that wording out. We're actually going to hold each frame. If you look there, you can see 4 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. So either 4, 5 or 6 seconds seems to be the right amount of time to hold a frame. If it's too short, people can't read what's in your script. And if it's too long, like if you're getting longer than that 6 seconds, then they're getting bored. They're like, yeah, move on already, that kind of thing. So I'm probably averaging 5 seconds a shot, a frame. If there's a lot of writing there, it may be 6. If it's less, it may be 4, sometimes 3, but not so much. And so, yeah, you want to go through that like problem, aggravate, solution, call to action. But that's the most important marketing formula, that I've ever learned. But, like with anything, you've got to take it with a grain of salt, and you've got to learn and evolve. And what we do know now is that we live in this attention deficit, basically disorder time, and people don't have a long attention span at all. And so what we want to do is, where possible, demonstrate first. So what I'm saying here is like that marketing formula, the most important marketing formula that I ever learned, I've now modified it for the low attention age. And so instead of problem, aggravate, solution, prove, call to action, we're doing demonstrate up front. So show visually what it is you're going to do for them, the benefit for them. And I'm going to give you an example in a minute, so hopefully it gets home. So often we'll demonstrate in the first couple seconds, because you might only have 4, 6, 8, 10 seconds for them to get it before they're going to move on or they're going to scroll on. So we're going to demonstrate our main benefit, then we're going to get into the problem, then we're going to get into solution, then we're going to prove it, and then we're going to do call to action. So you can see I've tweaked it slightly. So let's look at a demonstrate example. So we want to demonstrate it fast and then get into problem, solution, call to action. So let's watch this video through, and hopefully in the first couple seconds you should see what this product is and how to use it. And my goal is that you kind of get it within the first 5 or 6 seconds. Okay, let's see whether I deliver on that. You can see that's basically like everything that we've spoken about sort of all coming together. And hopefully like some of you actually go, Wallabox, that's pretty cool. I should get one of those, or I should get a pair of those, that kind of thing. Where that's an example of where you weren't even really thinking about the problem, but if you go back to that first frame, like when you're at the bathroom, there really is nowhere to put your phone down at times if you haven't got pockets and that kind of stuff. So we were really demonstrating the benefit of the product by just showing it, there like that. So cool. So some rules and guidelines. Yes, so this is what we're building. So square, we've spoken about this. Less than a minute, we've spoken about that. First frame should move or capture attention. The reality is that the eye is attracted to movement. I remember when I was in the infantry, like I had no money to put myself through university. You guys call it college. Yeah, back in the 90s it was. Now I'm showing my age. And I was in the infantry, and one of the things I learned in the infantry at times is he or she who moves the least wins or stays alive the longest, because movement caught eyes, which meant you were more likely to get shot, you know, that kind of thing. So probably not the most politically correct example, but sometimes a story is a great way to remember something, which is why I do that. Yeah, so ideally we want to capture their attention. And that first frame definitely needs to be less than 20% text. But if possible, the first frame shouldn't even have any writing on it for the first couple of seconds. I think I've gone backwards a little bit. I've jumped forward. All right. So here's what we're going to do. So this is how to put all that together. Get Animoto if you haven't already got it. So like they're $264 a year. Get Video Blocks if you haven't already got it. So yeah, $200 a year. And then once you've got Video Blocks, then search. See how over on the left there you can see Members Library? You don't want to have it on all, because if you have it on all, then it starts to try and sell you videos. When there's plenty of videos in the Members Library, so there, like we search for Spanish, say we're doing something with our Spanish in that example, and then we find a video that meets our needs. You'll see over there on the right-hand side that there's two different sizes. One's 278 meg and one's 19 meg. As a general rule, we want to use the smaller one. We want this video file to be light and compact. If you're building stuff for TV, then yeah, use the big one. But if you're building it for social and that kind of stuff, just use the smaller video files, download it, because we're going to need that in a moment. All right, so you've started to plan out your script, and you've started to plan out what video assets you're going to use. Then from Animoto, we want to go create. And then once we choose create, we're going to choose marketing video. Remember we said that there's those personal family type videos, and then there's the marketing videos, and we really want to go to those marketing videos. From within there, we've got to think about what's our use case. So as a general rule, we're probably going to be using it for Facebook and for Instagram. So remember, we want that square video format so that we're taking up as much of the device as we can as possible. So it's really just about choosing a look and feel that you like, a template. I use this one a lot, you know, where it's got the like the background sort of behind the writing, but you can use whatever one that you want, but just think about it. But it really should be a square one to get started, I would say. And then so you choose one, and then just go choose that storyboard. Like you can demo it and see how it looks and feels, and then you can go choose that storyboard. And then it'll come with a whole bunch of default writing, and it'll come in with a whole bunch of default images and videos. And what you can do now is you can just click on the writing that's there, and you just start changing it. So you just click on it, and then you like that T for text there, you just click on it, and you just start changing the text. And see here, you can have a headline, you can have a sub-headline. You don't have to use both. It's up to you, whatever works right for you. And you can drag them from the top to the bottom. You can drag them into the middle. It's like this easy to edit video on here. So yeah, you can see from there, we've dragged it from the top down to the bottom so that the writing wasn't on her forehead. We can change the color of the video. We can change of the writing. We can change the size of the writing, all that kind of stuff to create the exact right, you know, kind of look and feel that you're after. So as you can see, this is not like high-tech video editing. This is actually quite easy. Just click on it and change it up. So yeah, you should really be able to do that. And then what we want to do is we want to drag in, or we can click upload. So remember how we went to Video Blocks before and we chose some videos. Now that we've mapped out what our writing is going to be, we can start to upload some images, and we can upload some videos that we're then going to drag in and have behind our writing. So we find a file on our computer that we've downloaded, and we upload that, and then you'll start to see it over there on that side now. You'll see it over there on the side, and you can literally grab it and then drag it on. It's as simple as that. You just grab it and you just drag it on to the, onto that frame. And then once you've clicked it and you've dragged it onto the frame, the video is probably going to be too long. And remember, we wanted to make these either 4, 5, or 6 seconds. Okay, so then what we would do is we would click on the time frame. If you click on the time frame there, like click on this 16 seconds, and then we click on this trim button, and it's not difficult video editing at all. What we do is we just grab this thing and we can drag it either that way or we can drag it that way. You can see what I've done here is I've trimmed it so that we've got rid of the whole front of the video. We found the exact right bit we wanted. We've got rid of the whole back, and then we can see that it's like 6 seconds. So it's like perfect. You know, this video frame is going to match up with our writing, and we've got it down to our 5 or 6 seconds. We click apply, and we just do that kind of over and over again. And if the video you uploaded has sound on it, then you might just need to click on this here, which is talking about like the image or the video, and just click it so that it doesn't have sound, because chances are you're going to want that underlying video audio track, which was the music that we saw before. And Animoto has that already built into it. You can also drag them around. Like if this one's no longer in the right spot, you can just literally click on it, hold it down, and drag it to there. If this one's not in the right spot, you can click it down, hold it, and drag it to there. So it's that easy to edit video. So if we just recap, you just literally, we chose a theme in Animoto, or so we chose Animoto. We said we're going to a marketing video. Then we said we're going to do a square video. We chose a theme. Then it already had some writing on there. We just clicked on it. We started changing the writing around. We uploaded some photos and some videos. You just literally drag them into the spot that you want, and then you can trim them. You can drag them around, change their order. This is how easy video editing is with Animoto. And then we click on music, and we want to change the music track. Sometimes the default music track they've got's great, or you may want something different. You just choose a different music. I really only just use they've got some there that they call popular, like the main 5 or 6. I just really use those and just change between those, and it works awesome. So yeah, change the music track, give it a title. So we were going, want to call it Animoto Marketing Project. You just click on that. It'll give you like a pencil, and then you can change the, what are you going to call it? So here we go, Demo Visual Story Video, very meaningful title that I've come up with there. That's how you, you give it a title, and then we're going to click save. So then we've saved our video. But one of the things is you'll find you've built it, but you've really got to preview it, because you might preview it and then realize, oh, hang on a second, that bit doesn't quite work, or that bit doesn't quite work. Once you've previewed it a couple of times and then edited it again, so we go here, preview, and then you watch it. So it'll generate a preview, take about 15 seconds or so. It'll show you. And then if you see something that wasn't quite right, you just go back, you just click that continue editing, go back. You might need to change the order of something, or you might need to make some writing smaller, or you might need to just, choose the right bit of the video, that kind of thing. Make sure that the whole thing's less than a minute. And then if you've done that and you're happy with it again, you will preview it again, go all good, and then let's go produce. Like, so we're happy with it, then we go produce. So we click on that produce button, and it's going to say, yeah, we need to finish this now. So we're going to create a video, and it's going to create this square video that we can then download. So here we go. We click on download. I often download the 720 by 720 just because it's smaller, like from a size to upload, but either 720 by 720 or 1080 by 1080, either of those to download is fine. And then that's the video that you're going to be using in your Facebook marketing or your Instagram marketing, that kind of thing. So we're going to save the file down to our hard drive. That's pretty much how we make videos. And I do this every single week. I make one of these for every single thing that I'm promoting. So I can't hand on heart say that the visual story video is going to win every test. Like, so, you might want to test image videos, images, ads. You might want to test visual story. You might want to test face to camera, just you talking to it, or a professional video. It's really like all marketing is test and measure, but this is a great way. This is of taking someone from they don't even know about it, they're not even aware of it, to really wanting and feeling that they need it, and they're going to get it very, very quickly. Very, very often this will win your test and be the one that you run with the most. So that's how you do it with Animoto. Like I said, this also can be done with ScreenFlow or Camtasia. I chose not to show that because it just really is too geeky, and the last time that I taught that, it just ended up like 1,000 questions of just technical stuff, and it wasn't relevant to everyone. But if you do want to learn ScreenFlow or Camtasia, there's a powerful word called tutorial. So you just go to YouTube and you type in ScreenFlow tutorial, and that'll show you how to do it, or Camtasia tutorial, and people will show you how to, how to use those tools. But they're the other main ways of of creating these visual story videos. And then you're really going to want to deploy it, which is really where the second, like these are like a 1-2 punch. The first bit is we want you to be able to make these, and then the second bit is we're going to show you how to deploy it, and we don't want to make it too complicated. So Facebook and Instagram video view ads, going to really geek out on that in the next session together. Website conversion ads with Facebook, that's another great way of using them. Could also be clicks to website ads. YouTube ads, so we spoke about before, but that would be more your landscape than your square ones. And then also you may want to use them on your landing page or on your product page, that kind of thing. So the next session we're really going to get into how to deploy them, but the first session here was really, how to make them. So really think about, like, now what products or what services could you be making a visual story video for, and then deploying, in your marketing. Chances are that you've probably got a couple of things. If you think about it, the 80-20 principle applies to nearly every business. So it'll come down to, like, we've got 3 or 4 main products, or we've got 3 or 4 main services. Like, make a visual story video for each of those. I sometimes, on our Rainmaker blog, like, we've got one main blog post there that's really, this is at rainmakerpartner.io if you want to see the blog there. The main blog post goes really long, and we use a visual story video to drive, with Facebook video view ads, to drive traffic to a free blog post. You might think, why would they do that? Because we're just leading with amazing value, and then we're pixeling them and then remarketing them, and we'll get into all that, because I know some people in the group are fairly new and some people are advanced. We'll get into all that in the next session together. So think about visual story videos and where you can deploy these in your marketing. This is just like a really awesome tool you can now go and deploy in your business.